Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on, YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I have the honor of presenting you with some pretty unique content as far as the knife world goes. This is a very metal complexy video, and by that I mean I periodically I'll show you guys a lot of stuff. I get my hands on lots and lots of knives, and the majority of what I show is stuff that I like, right? But it's stuff that is commonly available and that you can go out and get, and that's what most people like. They want to see things that they can get their hands on. Some people like to watch knife content that covers things that are unique and extremely difficult or impossible to get your hands on, just for the sake of enjoying it just visually. That is the type of knife content that I used to obsess over before I started to create content here on YouTube. I loved watching videos about knives that were just extremely unique and or rare slash unobtainable, right? What we have here is a unique set of knives. These were originally, production knives. This is not, an authorized collaboration or anything, but these knives were made by, of course, we have Mick Strider, we have Rick Hinderer, and we have Chris Reeve. Now, if you have been around for a bit, then you'll know that these makers specifically are referred to as the original Holy Trinity of American, small batch, ultra high end production / mid tech, whatever you want to call them, right? There's a lot of different terms. These three makers, very specifically, you can have your own personal Holy Trinity, whatever. But the originals, when you hear that term, the Holy Trinity, what people are referring to specifically are those three makers. My buddy Scott, who you can find on Instagram at Sierra_bound, had two completely and totally unique sets of Holy Trinity knives made, and there were multiple people involved. And you probably saw me unbox these knives, in each set. Like I unboxed these three and these three, and we got to take a look at them. Today, I just want to, kind of do a complete showcasing. I don't think these knives will ever be together again. As far as I know, these knives are all going out to different people. And I can't imagine a scenario where these would all be in the same location again. So it's really interesting because I've never seen a Holy Trinity set that looks anything like this, let alone two of them together. So I needed to make sure and do a YouTube video and talk about these things all in one place for, because I want to have it on my channel. And at the same time, I also want to entertain. This type of content is definitely not for an enormous amount of people. This is going to be for a select, small percentage of my audience who appreciate stuff like this. But we're going to sit back and casually talk about each one of these knives and just enjoy them, visually and as knife enthusiasts, because these are definitely, while they are completely and totally functional, if it's not clear by the gloves, these are art pieces. There's so much handwork that went into these, so much love and care, and everybody involved with these projects is just a super hyper obsessive knife person. So it's just really cool to have them all in one place. Thank you so much to Scott, Sierra_bound, for trusting me with these. These are very expensive. I'll continue to be careful with them. But thank you for allowing me to share this stuff with everybody. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. So let's go ahead and get each blade out very carefully. We have, each one of these is unique, obviously, but I mean, it has its own, level of uniqueness. I'm actually going to move that out of the way now that you guys know what his Instagram is. You can always go back and check it again later. So we have that Strider here, and all three of these initial ones were engraved by Bruce Shaw. There's some other people involved here, but all three of these were Bruce Shaw. I'll let you guys take a look here at this guy. Pocket clip's different, but Bruce Shaw did the hand engraved, not something that was just pooped out by a laser. And then these here, I want to make sure and get his name correct, but this is Ting Nguyen, and that's at TN_engraver. I'll actually show you guys. So if you want to take a look at his Instagram there, TN_engraver did the Hinder Eclipse, this is so cool. This was a Hinder Eclipse slicer. I've never seen a crazy like dressed up eclipse before. And then this one, I know that you guys will all be, telling me what your favorites are. Some people in the comments will just, I don't even know why these people would click on this video in the first place. But some people will just go down there to say that they don't like any of them. And that's fine. But you would think that I had my obvious favorite. This is a large Inkosi. And we have another Strider Performance Series SNG here. This one, I think he says in the notes, has not found its final voice. This has it's probably a PVD titanium lock side. And he said this is the only one that is technically not absolutely complete. There might be some more there, but there's a lot of different stuff going on with each one of these. But this Inkosi, with the armor core blade, this is a reblade, obviously. It's also running on bearings. This is one of the most ridiculous things that I have ever seen. And, forgive me for not... The sound, man. Scott. Dude. The sound here is just unbelievable. I've just never seen anything like this. And I'm just so overwhelmed by that. As much as I love the Striders and Hinders, that Inkosi is just insane. But they all obviously have a theme going on here. But there's a lot of people involved with all of these. So any of these blades that are, mirror polished like this, and these are true mirrors. Just excuse some of the debris, but like these are truly mirror polished. Absolutely stunning. Let me make sure that I get the right people here. So it would be Lindy Reed of Knife Modders doing all of the polishing, right? If you see custom pocket clips like this one here, right? We also have like on the Hinderer, there's a clip. Beautiful. The engraving, right? The engraving still was done by the people I mentioned earlier. This one here has like the Damascus in there. I'm shaking a little bit because I don't want to drop these. But those clips were done by Johnny T Knives. In the case, I believe all of them. And the ones over here that were done, engraved by Ting Nguyen. But yeah, all those pocket clips there. So there's a couple of other little tiny things, the black anode tie, like on the Strider over here. It says tie black anode by EDC Specialist. It's not PVD. It's black anode. So another person involved with this project was EDC_specialties, and I am not sure if there's anybody else involved. I think it was all. Oh yeah, it's some of the the large Inkosi, like this guy here. Take a look. And I believe also this one, which I got wrong. That would have been Millet Knives right here. Millet Knives. I don't want to leave any of this stuff out. It's really important because everybody, if you could imagine what was involved with getting exactly, like the exact, we'll have to mention the person who did that blade as well. The Chad Nichols master, this is actually at SG Knives is who did that. The armor core blade, like the actual material is Chad Nichols Damascus, but it was actually made by SG Knives on Instagram. Think about how much was involved with this. You have Lindy mirror polishing the blades. You got the gentleman who's making the clips, right? Two different people making clips, having to have the clips done, and then they're engraved by each of these individual engravers. So each one of these steps has to be taken care of. There's a lot of communication between Scott and these people trying to get certain things done and then everything coming together. I can't imagine. Scott didn't actually give me a timeline on this stuff, but this seems like a project that was probably 1 to 2 years, maybe more, in the making. As you could imagine, you're looking at thousands per knife. I mean, this is expensive. You cannot have this done, unless you have a machine where you push a button and it just does this, which we don't, right? Not yet. The amount of, and that would make it far less interesting anyway, like at least to me. The amount of work. I mean, think about just the engravers. I can't decide which style I like more. I don't think I have a preference on the style or which one I like more. I just find each one, like this one here, with just the little details on like the filler tab and how well it matches with the pocket clip, how well it flows. It's so interesting to see engravers work around hardware, right? I do really like how Bruce Shaw does the spine. Like this right here is probably one of my favorite areas on any of these knives. And I think, let's see here. So he did the back spacer on this Strider here. That's just so cool. And it's just a visual element, right? I think we might have some people saying, I don't understand why people do this with pocket knives. It doesn't add any functional value to it. And I always think that that's a really funny statement. Like you really have to work super hard to not understand what's happening here. Like your brain, like you have to resist every urge for your brain to just go, yeah, some people just like collecting stuff like this and they find it interesting. Like your brain has to work so hard to fight like tooth and nail against just basic logic there. Like you don't have to try so hard to not understand it. I think, people like have been collecting things. People have been collecting knives for hundreds or even thousands of years. Like it's just like human beings do that. So it should be common, like basic logic. It should be very easy to understand that people would also want to embellish things that they collect to make them even more special, right? And yeah, you can say that's the human error, the error in the way that we are, material possession, blah, blah, blah. I guess if you want to make it super deep, you certainly can. I think it's just fun that a community of people can come together and appreciate and understand this, and just the fact that you can't. I mean, you could technically go and have these people make, something similar. I think there's some sort of agreement. I mean, it actually says on the paperwork here, I think there's some sort of agreement between Scott and these people to never completely duplicate these two sets ever again. So it would have to be something, totally different. I think in particular, the engravers are like, we'll do this once and then we're not, I don't think that, I mean, I'm guessing, I don't really know. But the amount of work involved here with each of these knives is just insane. I would like to know which ones you guys like the most, and what your reasonings are. I think some people are kind of asking, like if you look at like what's different here, there's so many similarities, and then we have the two Chris Reeve knives with the Damascus. In this case, you have the armor core, and then in this case, you have the Chad Nichols, just like your twin composition, right? So this is, I believe this is a tri-composition, San Mai. I kind of like that there's a breakup in this. I kind of like that we didn't just do another mirror polished blade. I think it looks really good. Some people might say that it looks too busy or that all of them look too busy. But I just love it. I think it looks absolutely spectacular. Each one of these, even the Sebenza, and I wonder, like, is there something going on here where this one is smoother? This particular Sebenza is so well broken in. And then, my favorite XM18 of all time is actually the DLT Trading exclusive non-flipper fullard spear, which I do own this knife. Obviously not like this. I own a basic one. But I think it's cool that he chose this version of the knife to create one of these ultimate forms out of. And then I have personally been seeking almost exactly that. I'm not even sure where Scott got this, like a Performance Series SNG. Like I have an SMF and it's cool, but I want a Performance SNG just to be able to EDC. Obviously this one would not be, I would not be carrying it for obvious reasons. But this is about the perfect SNG without going into like the super ultra crazy custom ones that come direct from Strider. That's about the perfect one you can do there. And then I think he calls this one over here, these three sets, the backup Trinity. I mean, some people might prefer these over these. I don't know if there's like really like one of them is considered better than the other. They're all incredible. But I think he also chose really well. I mean, obviously this is another Strider S&G Performance. The reblade on this one just makes it super unique. I personally like the Nkosi more than the Sebenza base model. And then your Eclipse, I think this is appropriate for a couple of reasons. I don't know if he thinks exactly like me. The Eclipse was appropriate to do because the Eclipse was quite literally, when they designed it, when Hinder designed it, meant to eclipse their flagship model, which was the XM18. It was designed as an improvement over the XM18 in every way. The flipper tab, the ergonomic lines, all of that. They even made, they increased the total edge length. Now, the Eclipse is a super popular model, but it never did really eclipse the XM18. The XM18 continued to be the most popular model, and they continue to be the flagship model for Hinder knives. So I think it's appropriate that this is the counterpart here. And it has its own unique personality. The slicer grind, I mean, you could argue a number of different blade shapes are the ultimate blade shape for the Eclipse. I think the slicer grind in particular looks extremely good on the Eclipse, probably right next to the Harpoon Spanto that they did. Actually, the ZT0393 was exactly that, but the ZT version. Either way, super cool. I also really love that Lindy actually mirror polished the hardware. We're actually going to use the Eclipse to show this, but the hardware on these knives is also mirror polished. It's so interesting. I think like this is the end. I don't think it's just like a natural result of it's just like what happened. I think this was all very carefully planned out, that you wanted this, you know, this sort of flow. Like you have the busyness in the handle, and you have the light, like the silvers and the dark grays, and then you have the hardware intentionally being highlighted by being mirror polished, kind of breaks it up a little bit. And then these blades are, you know, not busy at all, just mirror polished. So it creates for that really cool contrast. This is pure busyness and somehow works, in my opinion. But I think this does it better. Like this is visually, in my opinion, this is the most incredible thing out here. I mean, this is an impossible object to me. I think this has all the way around the best look. And personally, this is my favorite. I think this is my favorite engraving, and it's because of the way that they have done the pattern around the outside to sort of, you know, encase the patterns on the inside. And then the blade is just wackadoo, man. I mean, this is a custom, it's a reblade. Armor Core from Chad Nichols. And then made, again, I want to make sure that we get that person correct. At SG Knives. It's on skiff bearings too, by the way. Which is why, hold on. It's so wild having an Eclipse, or not an Eclipse, but an Nkosi. Oh, I gotta flick it once. Nope, I had my hand in the way because it's got a front flipper on it. There we go. God, that noise that it makes is just unreal. This is such a wild object, man. So wild. But that's probably my favorite one. I want you guys to let me know which you think is the best here. We've been talking for about 20 minutes. That's where I kind of like to be with this stuff, is about 20 minutes. What's your favorite and why? You know, which ones? I mean, and like, you know, obviously you kind of mix and match. This one definitely does need to be completed. I think that's probably the one. And by the way, this scale here was done, Showside scale mono black Timascus by Johnny T Knives. So this is it's Timascus, right? That's a unique element here. But mono black. So no anodizing. And then it looks like it's actually like a zircotite. Well, it is. It says it's black Timascus. So there's these little spots here. This is like a metal cheetah is what it looks like. So that's a unique element there. I think it would be cool to do the pocket clip is also obviously the same thing. I think it'd be cool to do the entire knife out of this material, right? But that one definitely needs to be completed. I imagine Scott's going to hang on to that until he kind of figures out exactly what he wants to do with it. But just to reiterate, these are not mine. Like, I don't get to keep these. I think Scott's intention at some point was for the Hinder, but as of right now, these all still belong to Scott. It's just a really cool project that he worked on with a lot of people. And for the sole, I think, like, obviously he wanted to create something special, but also specifically to share it with the community through this channel, which is really cool. I'm glad that I get to do this. That's what we're looking at here. Just a lot of really, really awesome stuff. I hope I didn't leave anything out. I really wanted to talk about these and get them all in one video. But I think what I was saying is you could totally like mix and match, with these if you were trying to put them into your own perfect Holy Trinity, not necessarily picking which individual knife is your favorite, but if you wanted to create, the perfect three of the bunch, which would you choose? I can tell you which ones I would choose. It would be this guy here, and this guy here. That would be the absolute, not to take away from anything, because we're getting a little bit of everything from everybody involved. But if I were to say, one of these is the absolute king, I think I would probably do it like this. Just like that. Let's just get that framed up just real nice so that everybody can kind of see what we're doing here. That is just about absolutely perfect. We got to get these two. There we go. So beautiful. So beautiful. Do we turn this one over? Do we turn it this way? I mean, really, I think the best way to frame this up is with all show sides, but because of the way that this triangle has to be created aesthetically, you kind of have to do like this. I'm sure my thumbnail will be something like this. This is about as perfect as it gets. It's really, really cool. I don't know that we have enough room to get this at perfect, aesthetically perfect, so we'll try to include everything here. But absolutely awesome stuff. Probably should have zoomed out just a little bit there. Thank you again to Scott for letting me showcase these. This is a good time for the small percentage of the knife community who will enjoy this. And thank you to all the people involved with these projects. This is so cool, and I cannot fathom the amount of work involved with this. But anyways, that's going to be it today, guys. I'll make sure and put this in the channel history playlist so that it's always easily accessible for people who'd want to check it out again or reference it. But that's going to be it today. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram. I'm just going to show it here real quick. I don't want to set it down. Follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.